external circumstances create a situation of intense suffering, and that usually wakes up people.
Yeah.
But is it possible that one can wake up without any
Without
suffering, being feeling very comfortable with life, calm, and still wake up? So that's a question you were asking, if I'm right?
Yeah. Like for example,
what you're talking of is
like if I'm fed up with my husband, that's the time I want to wake up.
Yeah.
If that situation doesn't come, so still I can have that inner urge, like to be put bluntly in that way.
only the sleeping one can wake up. Please understand.
Okay.
To wake up, there is a
Sleeping.
precondition, and that is that you must be
Sleeping.
And if you are sleeping, then you would be suffering.
Okay.
So to wake up,
To wake up, we need the external.
You have to be.
it is necessary, it is obvious that there would be suffering involved in the process of awakening. Otherwise, what are you awakening from? If there is no sleep, where is the question of awakening? Then you are abiding in your Buddha nature, fine. There is no question of any further awakening. And if there is slumber and ignorance and sleep, then it is always accompanied with suffering. It is not possible to be living in illusions and yet not suffer. But it is possible to not to be conscious of the suffering.
To suffer happily.
Yeah.
To suffer happily.
Yeah.
Or to not to know that you are suffering.
Suffering, yeah.
One has to be deeply in love with oneself. One has to be deeply sensitive towards oneself to experience the suffering. If you don't love yourself enough, then you will happily take suffering and not complain. After all, suffering is resistance towards pain. If you have no resistance, then there is no suffering. Then there will be pain, and yet you will not suffer. Suffering is when you start saying no to pain. Only then you suffer. If pain is welcome, then there is no suffering.
Can there be the other way around too? Like other way, when that external worldly thing, when that happiness is so much, you're so fully content, then too you see the end of it, and then too
You will require an event like the one that the Buddha faced. Very happy, very contented in your own personal blissful world. You go out for a walk or a ride, and what do you encounter? Misery. A dead man, a sick man, an old man. And because you are not exposed to those things at all in your universe of happiness, so they strike you all the more. Like a man who has no immunity to certain bacteria or virus, because he has never been exposed to them. But don't crave for it. Don't
Yeah,
long.
it's
It's
not-
okay.
Yeah, like
It's okay.
nowadays, like
It's okay.
that is being one of the thing. Like whether like I am
Let
let it.
Pain also, unless you want to be pained, how can anything pain you?
it can pain you, but you will not call it as something unwanted.
Yeah.
You will not take it as unwanted.
You take it as a
Go
part
and
of-
visit a beauty salon and see what all is happening to the women there. All their hair are being plugged. Doesn't it hurt? Isn't it painful when your eyebrows are being plugged out? But they don't call it suffering. That is welcome pain. That is welcome pain. You ask them, are you suffering? Good. It's good.
But in the hope of future happiness.
That's all. That's all.
Rarely someone like him is born, which is already away.
Inscrutable are the ways of the existence. All we can really closely look at is our this personal life, because it is available to the senses for observation. This is our only hope. We know so little about the saints. What do we talk about them? To know a Buddha, first of all, you should be one with your own Buddha nature. How do we talk about the Buddha? But yes, we can talk about our behavior towards the grocer, towards the, maid, towards the hawker, towards the driver, towards the cook, towards the stranger, towards the kid, towards the man, towards the woman. That we know of. That we honestly know of. So, better to talk of that. You know what sensitivity means? Sensitivity means that now you want to know. You want to know where your beauty product is coming from. You want to know where your shirt and your trouser is coming from. You just can't take anything. The more you know, the more you get into trouble.
Yes.
Now you know where your packaged food is coming from. Now you know what your taxes are going towards. It becomes difficult for you to pay taxes. Your government is fighting an unjust war using your money. It becomes difficult to pay the taxes. And once you come to know that the house that you are occupying covers an area that is not available to 99% of human population, it becomes difficult to live in that house. Once you know that the average spent on one shopping trip that you make is more than the annual income of 50% of the world's households, it becomes difficult to happily go to the shopping mall and spend money. Now you're getting into trouble. Now your daughter won't take it very kindly. Now all the happy relationships will be under strain. And it's okay if you don't know. I sometimes advise you better not know.
But still that urge will be there.
That urge is not there.
It's not there.
Very few are those in which that urge is really there. Others are just, faintly curious. Tell us. And if you don't tell them, they forget all about it. It's not really a deep, burning question. It's a flimsy curiosity. If it's answered, it's okay. If it's not answered, that too is okay. To such persons, I say, continue with your contented life. Don't unnecessarily try to be adventurous. You'll get hurt. Kids must not play with knives and fire. Continue with your life. Don't disturb it. Buddhas are dangerous. This is one thing that, we all must keep in mind. Spiritual adventurism leads to only more misery. It's like kids burning their hands while playing with crackers. There is no hurry. Indian tradition says you have millions of births available. Unless you are really feeling the pangs, unless your heart is being taken and twisted, convoluted.
Acharya, if it's not that severe, not the heart twisted, but at the same time not settled where we are, like internally, not about this.
Then you have a choice. You can continue or you may drop out.
Okay.
But one should not just unnecessarily,
It's not like a pastime.
It's not a pastime, it's serious business. You're playing with fire. Scriptures really are fire.
Students are being rejected also, right, by gurus at times. Like
They all,
you go, you're
oh. It's not as if the students were being rejected as well. Only the very lucky ones were taken in. Even Kabir was initially rejected. But he was smart. He actually played a trick upon his guru. You must read about it. So that's the kind of severe entrance criteria. That was not really so in Kabir's case. The guru was adamant that the caste must be proper. But even otherwise, it has not been in the tradition to just casually accept someone as a disciple. It is said that the moment the guru accepts someone as disciple, all the karma phal of the shishya, the student, comes to the guru. It's like drinking poison. So it's a tremendous load that the guru is taking upon himself. He should be careful. The student would be liberated, but the guru would be So there were extensive details on how to go to the scriptures, how to hold them in the highest veneration, how to chant the mantras, how to pronounce. The whole literature was transmitted orally. So pronunciation was very important, and there were elaborate guidelines about everything. It's not something that you can, just use as a self-help book. You're taking the Upanishad and, casually reading, fine. No, not that, not that. You must prepare yourself well. Tradition says you must have ensured that you are taking the right diet. You must have cleansed the body. You must be sitting in an isolated place. And then you should open the scripture.